All right, tech enthusiasts, let's talk Apple Vision Pro, and let's talk about 5 reasons that I returned it, basically. 5 reasons that I think it fell short, 5 areas for improvement in future iterations, future versions of the device. Do check out my other video where I talked about 5 things that I really liked, that made me really excited for using it and I thought were fantastic elements. And look for the video talking about why, for me, Apple Vision Pro didn't turn out to be my next home theater, but why, in fact, actually, for some of you out there, it may be so. But right now, let's talk about areas for improvement. So number one, right off the bat, I have to fault the form factor ultimately. While I do believe that it's one of the smoothest, cleanest, well-built, put together pieces of kit, it absolutely looks fantastic coming out of the box, and I think they did their best to keep it small and contained and tightly packaged and all of that. For me, I still just found it a little bit too much to wear, too heavy. One of the things that I was really concerned about with my Apple Vision Pro experience was being in that environment and feeling motion sick. And thankfully, I can say I never really felt sick at all because of what I was being presented with. I could watch 3D in there very happily, where normally 3D doesn't sit very well with me. The immersive videos, the big surrounding stuff, looking down when you're on the mountains and big drops and stuff below you, I was actually okay with all of that. For me, the fact remained, and I think this may be physiologically something with me specifically, just having that weight pulling down on my face was too much for me. That alone, that pull down, the feeling on my neck, the feeling through here, did something else to mess with, to fuss with my sense of balance, my sense of equilibrium, my sense of just stability of my body. And I felt this with other things as well, actually. Not that long ago, I had bought a pair of Focal Bathist headphones. I was super excited to have those. I figured that would be my new standard for wearing them all day, doing work from home computing, wearing them a lot, taking them on trips. And after one day of wearing headphones, that was even too much for me. To have something on me, pushing on me, having weight on my head, I just didn't like it. And so to me, this device wasn't good in that respect, at least not yet. If it was like a half a pound, we might be talking. But at its current size and weight and form factor, pulling down and all that, I just couldn't do it for extended periods of time. Most of the time that I did use it for an hour, hour and a half, up to 2 hours or so in a single session, by the time I took it off, I was ecstatic to have it off finally. Get me out of this thing. I couldn't kind of take it anymore, and I could feel that sense of pressure and stress on me just accumulating until finally I was able to get out. And even trying to relieve some of that, sitting in the living room, sitting on the couch, trying to prop my head up, use my arm and whatnot, that made things a little bit better. My usual nighttime computing position is to kind of lay on my couch on a 45-degree angle, propped up, and I did try to use the Vision Pro there. I'm usually looking at my iPad and I have the TV on off to my side, but having the Vision Pro on and laying back and looking up just further kind of drove that weight down into my face. And what I was finding is, even without torquing the tension too tightly, I think I had the tension comfortably set, I would still come out of that experience with these red rings of irritation and just pressure all around my face. And so they're doing the best they can with the technology I think that they have available in this thing, and they packed an amazing amount of stuff into it. But at the end of the day, version 2, version 3 in the years ahead, I think are going to get so much better, to the point where they will start to become simpler, maybe weight not sticking out so far, but the center of mass and all of that closer to your face, get the thing smaller, lighter, and all of that. So we're looking at something that weighs considerably less and is a whole lot easier to wear and to use. But as it is for me right now, I couldn't do it for extended periods of time. I think I will remain happier essentially with my iPad, and my hope, if Apple drops the 16-inch iPad, I am all over that day one for sure. All right, so number 2, the second thing that let me down, and this is I think this is kind of an interesting one. So one of the use cases that I've talked about that I was very eager to have the Vision Pro for was reading comic books, graphic novels. I do a lot of that as it is digitally on my iPad and sometimes on my computer as well. I subscribe to Marvel Unlimited. I subscribe to DC Infinite Universe. I have a bunch of purchases made, built up over the years through Comixology, now into Amazon Kindle. Normally I read on my iPad, And while I like the experience, I would like a much bigger page, and I would like to be able to see bigger, like 2-page spreads. And so surfing and reading inside the Vision Pro was something that I was absolutely excited and looking forward to. Some of that stuff is there, some of it's not. The main way that I was able to test this actually was using Apple Books. I'll get to more on the app availability in one of my future bullet points here coming up. What really let me down is get iBooks opened, get a nice big presentation of a comic book, graphic novel opened up, a big 2-page spread of art. When I'm looking at a panel or a word bubble reading, let's say in the upper left-hand corner, the rest of the page is blurred. It's reduced in resolution. The Apple Vision Pro doesn't present everything to you in like a fully focused, universal focused manner. Whereas if I pull up that page on my iPad, the entire page, as I look at it holistically, is sharp. It looks fantastic. But the Pro really focuses its focal point, its highest resolution point. I'm not exactly sure everything that's going into that and why it's doing this, if this is a technology limitation or this is an interactive like design choice. But I could not stand only having what I was really looking at and focusing on being completely sharpened and focused, and having the rest of the thing not, such that when I'm reading a graphic novel and I'm moving my eyes from this word balloon to this word balloon, it's pretty quick, but it's not instantaneous. And there's a noticeable shift as I move my eyes where things need to come in. They either need to get up-resed or they need to come into focus. And I didn't like that at all. I want to be able to go from balloon to balloon to balloon to balloon. I read pretty quick, and then I like to be able to look at the page all in one. And I was really disappointed by this. I don't know why they did it like this, if it's a technology limitation or whatever. In fact, when I went and picked up my device at the Apple Store itself, I was noticing that things didn't look right to me. And I didn't realize in the store what I was seeing in that regard, that, oh, it's a look and focus type of thing happening. So I actually talked to the folks at the Apple Store. I'm like, I wonder if it's my old eyes, because sometimes I need readers to read certain things that are close to me. And so they're like, oh, we have reader lenses. And I actually bought a pair of the readers and I tried them in the store. They let me set up with a second demo to basically be able to compare readers on and readers off. And I didn't notice a difference. So I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and buy the readers and I'll take them home. And that'll give me the ability to shift back and forth and find out if this really helps me or not. But I think ultimately what I was experiencing is not a limitation of my own age and my own eyes, but in fact this focal focus element of the device. And so that left me really kind of baffled and again disappointed, because wanting to read comic books in all of this massive, huge glory with large letters and easy to read text just doesn't work in there. I hope that they're able to fix this, adjust this, or if it is a design choice, get rid of this in either a future version of the software or a future version of the device. In fact, I'd love to talk to somebody like on an Apple tech team or whatever and kind of ask the questions like, is this by design or is it not? And find out the answer to that. I did bring it up to the folks at the Apple Store when I returned the Vision Pro, but the folks that were processing my return, I explained all of that to them and they really didn't offer up anything in the way of explanation or to understand why exactly that was happening. So keep in mind, if one of your primary use cases with the Vision Pro is a lot of reading and a lot of reading of text, you may find this to be a pretty significant annoyance. And I would highly suggest going to an Apple Store, doing a demo, and focus on this idea while you have the opportunity to demo the unit and see if it annoys you in the same way. All right, number 3, and I will expand on this more in the other Apple Vision Pro as home theater, but a reason that it fell short, a reason that I returned it, is they missed the mark on something that I had been talking about for weeks now, for months now, with regards to the Vision Pro, and that it needed to work with the ability to watch video, watch my movie inside the Vision Pro and send the audio out to an Apple TV that's routed to my high-end premium audio system, so that I had the video experience there and I have the audio experience outside of the Vision Pro itself. Now, one thing I will say though is the speakers on the Vision Pro were definitely better than I think they had any right to be. They actually surprised me. I think they actually did a really good job with the speakers. They had some spatial type of feeling, and the sound coming there actually really ended up feeling very anchored to any video presentation that you may be watching inside of it. The failure mode, though, is the only option that you have to like share video / audio content out of the Vision Pro to another device is with mirroring. You look up, you go to Control Center, there's an option for mirroring, and you can pick a target device. And yes, you can pick an Apple TV. Fantastic, right? You'd think so. Well, when you mirror to an Apple TV, both the audio and the video go to the Apple TV. Okay, that's not a big deal. It means actually that I can use the Vision Pro, mirror to an Apple TV, and then other people that I might be talking to, whatnot, around the environment can see what I'm seeing inside the device. The problem is, for copy protection, for digital rights management, whatever it may be, if you're watching a movie in the TV app, in Disney Plus, whatever it may be, and you engage this mirroring, the video blacks out. So you can't watch your movie anymore. The audio still goes. The audio can still go to the Apple TV, but the video playback of the movie, despite the fact that it's still playing, is just black. It's black space. And there is no facility within the mirroring options to say, keep the video exclusive to the Vision Pro, but send the audio to the Apple TV. You actually do have, they gave us a selection menu inside the mirroring pane to choose the audio source independently. There is no similar selection in the mirroring pane for the video destination. And so it's completely stuck. And there's no other facilities that I was able to find to AirPlay specifically just for the audio separately. They really missed it. And it's so simple. Apple, come on. All you have to do is make this mirror pane let me choose video, Vision Pro, Apple TV, audio, Vision Pro, Apple TV. Let me make separate selections independently, and we're all good. If I could fly to California and sit with a developer for probably 30 minutes, we could get this knocked out and get it all squared away, because everything is already there to be able to do this properly. They just didn't enable the workflow in the software, in the menus, and it's extremely, extremely disappointing. We'll see if that changes. Hopefully a qualified person at Apple perhaps is able to watch this video and say, aha, Jeremy is right. We need to do it that way. Again, more on this topic, more on this idea in the specific Apple Vision Pro home theater video. All right, number 4, the thing that kind of left me a little disappointed, and admittedly, I think this is only really going to be a short-term concern, is, yes, the lack of apps. I think Apple did a tremendous job getting a bunch of stuff loaded into the store. However, for me specifically, a couple of specific things that I wanted to see, that I wanted to try, were not there, and who knows, we'll see if they end up coming. I wanted to try to play Marvel Snap. Let me bring that Marvel Snap window in. Let me kind of pinch and grab and put my cards into play. I think Marvel Snap could have been absolutely fantastic. It's not there. For reading the comic books, again, I wanted to be able to read Kindle, Marvel Unlimited, DC Universe. Not a single one of them had apps in the store. Although, wouldn't you know, a day after, I think literally yesterday from recording this video, a day after I returned the Apple Vision Pro, Marvel Unlimited was released to the Vision Pro App Store. Well, I just barely missed that. But I still got what I needed for graphic novels and comic books, thankfully via the Apple Books app. Still, I think there's a lot more room to kind of expand that app store. You've got other folks like Netflix and YouTube and Google and stuff saying that they're not going to support it. And then I thought there was some other folks maybe stepping in to make YouTube apps and different things. But all of these different apps need to come. It strikes me as, I don't know why it's so hard that there weren't more just iPad apps also released as is in the Vision Pro App Store. I think the majority of them would have worked just fine, and it would have been fantastic. For that matter, I don't know why there aren't more iPad apps just also released into the Mac App Store. They need to do that too, let alone start building out the Apple Vision Pro app selection as well. But I think Apple will find traction here. This is like a day one, week one, month one type of concern, and probably every day that goes by, I suspect more stuff will pile into that store. If you're thinking about buying this now, laying out the money for it, you better make sure that the stuff that you want to use inside of it is actually there before you go open up your wallet. All right, number 5, and really the main kind of concept that led me to going ahead and returning it. In many respects, I would have preferred to keep it, quite honestly. I would have liked to have it in my possession. I would have liked to have gone through each new software update and check things out and be able to watch firsthand and experience how this is evolving with my own hands-on, eyes-in ability to formulate opinions and test things out. However, at $4,000, nominally $4,000, the opportunity cost for me, at least right now, is too high. If the device had been $1,000, $1,500, maybe even $2,000, I might have reconsidered my calculus and I may have gone ahead and decided to keep it. But at whatever, $3,600, plus you're probably going to want some more space. I had bought the 512 model. You add some tax in there. The device itself was $4,000. And then if I needed the reader lenses and some other things, that added a little bit of cost as well. As it is for me, I'm trying to fund everything I do around home theater, audio, video, and technology by the channel. And there's just too many other competing things for my dollars in electronics and technology, let alone life in general. Family vacation fund, comic book collecting fund, right? Need to buy a new car here probably within the next couple years. $4,000 plus is an opportunity cost threshold that for me is just too high. I do look forward, hopefully future iterations as well. The price creeps down, although granted it's Apple. Probably would never expect this thing to really materially go as low as $1,000. I don't know, maybe $1,500, $2,000, but that's still a nice big step down. So at this kind of expense level, at this kind of cost threshold, to me, a device really has to be hitting very strongly. It has to be something that I know I'm going to get plenty of regular use out of, day-to-day use. I'm going to get high value in return, essentially every time that I put it on, versus it kind of just being a toy that I mess around with and I check out here and there and with new updates and all of that. So I'd imagine a lot of people are in the same boat as it being, again, just a very expensive product. And if you're going to get it, make sure you're going to use it. Otherwise, opportunity cost for a lot of us probably means that $4,000 is better utilized somewhere else in our household, somewhere else in our lives. And again, with my thoughts on Apple Vision Pro as a home theater, I am much, much more interested in coming out of 2024 with an NZ9 projector successor replacement in the home theater, I think, than I am with a bunch of Vision Pros for the family. So sound off in the comments. What do you think about the Vision Pro, particularly for the purposes of this video? What are the elements that didn't live up to your expectation? What are the elements that you think have room for improvement? Are you excited about the device in general? Do you think those areas for improvement can be addressed and it can be made really, really, really great in future versions? I do believe that, and I'm super, super excited to watch the evolution of this thing as we go forward in time. Otherwise, please do all that regular YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, share the video, hit the bell, and so on. And if you'd like to help support the channel, lots of ways to do that. Number one, shop with my affiliates, Audio Advice, Amazon in particular. Leave a PayPal, Venmo tip, become a channel member. That is available to you as well. Thanks so much for watching. Coming back for a whole bunch more home theater and technology discussion and fun.